Hey guys, welcome to my first SaaS challenge of 2025. The goal of this challenge is to create a new SaaS product. Many of you probably already know that SaaS just means software as a service. I've decided to try to start some sort of a software venture, and I thought I would just do a SaaS business. And the type of SaaS application that I want to build is for just small businesses to run their operations. I chose to create a SaaS product instead of some type of social networking site like a dating website or some other social media website similar to Facebook. I decided not to go that route since for those to be successful, you basically have to build up a network effect. In other words, if you don't have any users, it's difficult to get new users to come in. So I didn't want to struggle with that type of marketing effort. I just wanted to create some simple business software that even if I had just a very few number of users, I could possibly create at least a small stream of income as long as I'm providing some type of software functionality that they find useful for their business. I also want to create a fairly small product, something kind of simple, closer to a minimum viable product, something not very expensive, something that just covers the basic features that a small business may need so that it can be easily managed by just a one person team like me, a solopreneur. Basically, my top level goals for this is to create a narrowly focused piece of software. I'm just going to give it a small number of features, hopefully, the most important features that a business would need to run its operations. I also want to build a piece of software that's targeted for a very specific type of business. That way I can niche down and hopefully that will give me a competitive advantage. I want an application that the clients will find very simple and easy to use and understand. Again, this is so it won't require a whole lot of tech support, which would make it much easier for a solopreneur like myself not to have to constantly be interacting with the clients. If it's something they can just easily figure out and use without too much input from me, that would be ideal. I'm also looking to make something, like I say, fairly small with a small number of features and make it very inexpensive. I'm kind of thinking at this point, something simple that I can make anywhere between $5, $10 a month per client. Like I mentioned early, I want to niche down for a competitive advantage. I really want to zero in on a very specific type of business. I've been making lists of different types of small businesses that I could possibly target. And some of those you see listed here, a veterinarian clinic, a pool cleaning business, a bail bond business, and a septic service business. What I've kind of zeroed in on just for this very first try was a septic service business SaaS. I didn't really have any specific reasons to choose this one, but some of the bullet points you see that I listed here is this kind of a business. It's a must have service. Any person, any residential area that has a septic system instead of publicly provided sewer services, this is a service they have to have. They'll either have to have a septic system installed or pumped out regularly. Sometimes maintenance will have to be performed. There are cases where septic systems have to be inspected. Also, I would say that a septic service business is pretty much recession proof. No matter what's going on with the economy, people have to have these septic systems installed and maintained, cleaned. So the economy should not have too much of an effect on these types of businesses. And these types of companies are not the kind to just pop in and pop out because there is a significant capital investment that people have to make when they want to start this kind of a business. There's a lot of expensive equipment they have to purchase. So I figured a larger, more stable business would have less churn when it comes to customers, the clients of your SaaS product. And these types of companies, I'm assuming they're a pretty profitable type of company. So, based on the types of other overhead they have to invest in, so I'm sure they can afford a SaaS product. I did about 1 minute of market research on this industry, and according to this website that you see here, ibisworld.com, there are 7,338 septic, drain, and sewer cleaning services businesses in the U.S. as of 2024. So, in a nutshell, if these guys are accurate, that means there are 7,338 possible clients for the application product that I want to build. So, going with those numbers, I was just playing around and trying to put together some revenue projections for my SaaS application. And again, this is based on 7,338 potential clients. And as you can see on the little table that I put together here, this just has different scenarios on how many of this 7,000 that I can actually capture to be one of my clients. And I'm just going with extremely conservative numbers here. I just ran examples using 1%, 2%, and 3% if I were actually able to snag that particular percentage of that market. You can see that 1% would be 73 clients, 2%, 147, 3% would be 220. And of course, the monthly revenue too would depend on how much I wanted to charge. So as you can see here, the worst case scenario, if I only captured 1% of the market, I would have 73 clients. And if I charged those guys only $5 per month, that would be a total of $367 per month of recurring revenue I could get. That's the worst case scenario. That's not great. But as I was saying, I want this to be a very small application with limited number of features and very simple so that I'm not having to spend a whole lot of time or any time at all, preferably doing customer service and troubleshooting. So any type of small business, any type of small business that I can set up that basically runs itself, if it generates $300, $367 a month without me having to touch it, that's great. Then I can focus on other additional products similar to this. And in the end, putting a few together may add up to be a pretty decent source of income. But other than the worst case scenario, just the middle of the road case, you can see here, if I had 2% of the market and charged these guys $750 per month, that would be $1,100 every month. So that's not bad. Again, like I say, if it can just be a set it and forget it type of business where it basically runs itself and I don't have to do a lot of interaction with the clients, a lot of troubleshooting and have problems, $1,000 a month is a pretty good little side income. The technology stack that I have chosen to build this SaaS application, in my case, I'm going to use for the front end, I'm going to use Angular. I realize there's probably in early 2025, there are other JavaScript frameworks that are becoming more popular for the front end. But Angular is just something I've worked with quite a bit over the last few years. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and stick with Angular. Angular's making a lot of changes anyway to make themselves more competitive with the Reacts and the views and all that kind of stuff. So I don't have any major complaints against Angular. So I'll just go ahead and stick with that for the front end. For my server side code, I'm going to use Java. Um, it's going to have probably a fairly simple RESTful API with JAX-RS technology behind it. And that's what my Angular application will communicate with. And right now, I'm just planning for my database system to be MySQL. So it's going to be a pretty simple application, pretty simple technology stack, and a lot of people I know these days, all the younger cool kids like to go with all the other different tools, Python and whatnot. But for just a standard web application, I think in my opinion, and it's all opinion if you ask me, but I really like Java, so that's kind of my plan. And if you've never worked with Java or you kind of disagree with that decision, maybe if you just kind of follow along with my progress in this project, maybe you'll see some things that maybe you like, might change your mind a little bit about Java. And on the other hand, maybe I'll dig into this and figure out that Java's wasn't really the right choice. But For RESTful APIs, I find it hard to believe that Java is not going to be one of my better choices. I work with C Sharp quite a bit on my day to day regular job. I do C Sharp RESTful APIs, and I've played around enough with Java um, RESTful APIs that I don't see any big advantage of using C Sharp. I really like the Jakarta ecosystem and the community driven specifications and the implementations, the variety that you can choose from. There's no vendor lock in when it comes to using Java. So I really like that environment much better. Okay, my motivation for doing this project at all is basically just to improve my software development skill set. I've been programming for a long time, but I'm like everybody else. I get stuck in ruts where I just really don't learn new things if it's not required in my day to day job. So this is just something to have a little fun. I don't do, like I say, I don't do Java day to day, but if I could change full time jobs today, I do believe I would look for a Java position. So this will give me the opportunity to bone up on some of my Java skills and maybe be able to make that happen in the future. Hopefully, not too distant future. And like I say, this is just something I can enhance my resume by putting these extra skills that I'm going to try to strengthen up on and learn as I'm going along here. And that just goes along with increasing my earning potential. And like I was saying, landing a better job, at least a different job, something not so sick of. And if this SaaS product actually works out pretty well, maybe I could generate some additional income. Um, if it goes really well, or if I create just a handful of SaaS applications that do pretty good, I mean, it would be great if I could build some of these SaaS products up to completely replace or more than replace my regular full time job because I would love to step out of the 9 to 5 and just have my own thing going and work whenever I want. So that would be nice. And also, when it comes to creating any kind of a software product, whether it's websites or SaaS products, anything like that, marketing is like 50% or even more. If you don't market whatever product you've produced, I mean, it's a great learning exercise, but you don't market it, you're never going to get any kind of growth with it or earn any significant amounts of money unless it's just so fabulous that the word of mouth will kick off from one or a very few number of users. So during this project, I'm just hoping that I can, you know, learn some skills to promote the SaaS product, with digital marketing, and that's going to include content marketing, probably a dedicated blog for the product, learning some SEO skills, and maybe also some social media marketing just to try to get the word out about the product. And as I'm going through this, it's not going to be a tutorial. This is really just a way for me to break out of tutorial hell. You guys, if you're like me, you're probably in the same position. You're always just trying to learn new things, but you know, watching tutorials and reading tutorials and the learning process is great. But when you actually get your hands dirty, that's when it really locks in and your skills really do improve. So I'm just hoping I can use this to kind of get that done. Just get some more hands-on learning instead of all the videos and articles that I read. Like it says here, I just want to stop consuming and start producing. And I'd invite you guys if you want to follow along. Like I say, it's not going to be a tutorial, but I'll just kind of point out what I'm doing, what I'm building, and any kind of pitfalls that I'm having as I go through this. Like I say, if you're not interested in like the Java technology, um, you can you could follow along with your own project if you wanted. But you could do, you could use any kind of technology that you wanted. I would love to just bounce ideas off you guys. If you guys wanted to build something on your own while I'm building my product, you could build yours. It would be fun to see what types of things anybody else wants to come up with and put together. Um, so yeah, I look forward to that if any of you guys are interested in doing that. But that's it in a nutshell. That's just kind of my intro to this whole challenge. I would like to do more than one of these this year, but this is just the first one. So I just wanted to give you guys an introduction, let you know what I was going to try to do. So I'm going to put this video into a playlist on YouTube. And also, if you see on the bottom, this one video, I put this presentation together to go with a single blog post that I'm doing. For each video I do, I'm gonna also create a blog, and as you can see, that's the URL of the corresponding blog article that goes with this PowerPoint, and again, in the video that you're actually watching. So if you guys ever want to come over to my website at crestwoodcomputing.com, you can kind of read about what I'm doing if you don't have the opportunity to actually watch the videos that I put out. But what I'm going to try to do is for each blog post I put out for this challenge, I'll try to create it. I'm going to actually create a corresponding YouTube video to go along with it. And these YouTube videos, I'm going to put them in a playlist. So I should have just one single playlist for this 2025 SaaS challenge number one. So I hope you guys will stick around and come see what happens in the next video. Thanks a lot.